Hello and welcome to this week's IG Live. I am so excited to be talking with you. We're glad you're here. As you know, we come here every week and we bring a little dose of positivity into your life, and we also bring you practical tips and ideas for how you and your family can live your best life. And today I'm so excited to be introducing Melody Fananapazir. She's a friend of mine here. We know each other through the local Baha'i community, and she does really wonderful work. Hello. As a life coach and as a parenting coach. So we're going to be talking about what a life coach is and what are some of the challenges that she helps people with and tips that she might have for you. Join us here every week on Thursday, usually at this time, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. It's so nice to talk to you. It's so funny to be doing it on Instagram since we usually see each other in person.
I know. No, this is really special. Thank you so much for having
Well,
me.
thank you for joining. I'm glad the time worked out. And I was just mentioning a little bit that you are a parenting coach and a life coach. And maybe we could just start off by you can introduce yourself and tell us about your work.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my name is Melody Fananapazir, and I am a psychologist and a certified life coach. And I sort of specialize in areas of career, wellness, and also parenting. So there's kind of some overlap that comes up with all of them. There's been a lot of just an outlook of holistic type views with being able to support individuals in all aspects of their life. So really it's life coaching. And I have my own private practice that I do for life coaching, and then also do offer psychological support and help through the local school districts.
So what drew you to this kind of work?
So I've always known that I love connecting with people. I know that you had mentioned that we know each other through the Baha'i community. And so when I was growing up, community was just a huge value in our family and in our upbringing. There was never a time where our home wasn't filled with people from diverse backgrounds, and just learning their stories, learning what brought them to where they were. And so I found that I was always just a little bit more interested in getting to know people and their stories. And it just really fascinated me. And so when I taken my first psychology class, I just kind of knew that that was going to be an area that I wanted to explore further. Just personality, how it shows up in your life, how you can apply your strengths in different ways. And also, I had a lot of interests. And so I found that a challenge for me was discovering what I wanted to do. And so that's kind of what put me into sort of this zone. Was I felt that as a struggle, and I kind of, explored different ways of figuring out how I wanted to apply certain things in my life and what I wanted to do. And so I found that there was an area there that I kind of wanted to help other people discover their potential, and sort of determine how they could apply it
And
too.
is that what most people come to you for, or what kinds of things do people, what challenges do they have that they're asking for help for? Because I think sometimes a lot of it's like I hear life coach and I'm not really exactly sure what that kind of encompasses.
Yeah. So it's really anything that an individual or a client would like to partner, sort of figuring out what next steps could be in their life. So that could be career, it could be in parenting, it could be with their wellness, it could be executive coaching. So really, life coaching is a partnership I'm not there to give advice. I'm not there to tell them what to do. It's really a space where you can create a thought-provoking, creative sort of environment, utilizing different tools like powerful questioning, activities, and different things that can help people realize and discover those hidden potentials that might have been clouded because they're going through a transition, or they've had a life change, or they're ready for something new, but they're not totally sure what or how to get there. So I really see life coaching as a space of discovery, and it's really a partnership where we work on it together, side by side. There's ways that they can help discover what type of support they need, what type of accountability they might need. And so as we go through these different processes together, it unlocks things. It helps them to find, to discover, and to really see that those strengths are lying within them. But it's just a matter of sort of bringing them back up and out into the surface, and then maybe investigating and looking towards how those could be applied in their everyday life, and sort of connecting with their purpose and their passion. And so it's, to me, just such a wonderful, I absolutely love what I do, because not only do I get to meet so many amazing people that actually, always keep me learning. It's just such a dynamic field, because every day it's something different. It's something new. I learn so much from my clients, just because they're doing some really incredible things. And so it helps you to sort of reflect back in your life and say, wow, like, this takes courage, this takes bravery, and it kind of helps push you out of your comfort zone as well.
I imagine it just sounds so empowering. You're talking about a partnership as opposed to you just telling people what they should be doing and they follow those steps. Like you said, it's really kind of a back and forth relationship. But I'm also just wondering, and this is just kind of as I'm listening to you talk, if this is something I think maybe women maybe benefit from, because I think one, we often, I mean, men have this too, but I feel like women all have all these expectations put on us as far as what we're supposed to do. And also we're raised to be more people pleasers. And so I think it can be a little harder for us to sift through and find what we really want to do. Plus there's parenting. If for those that are mothers, a lot of times we're focused on those, and then when our kids go older, we think, well, now what do I want to do? Like what's next for me? That's the kind of the phase that I'm in now as my kids are getting older. Do you find that to be true also?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could have hit the nail on the head more. I would say that that's probably the majority of the people that I'm meeting with, and I just hold a very, very special space in my heart for moms and parents and caregivers. It's hard. It's, I believe, to be one of the hardest jobs with the least amount of training and direction. But I also will say that my children have been my greatest teachers. I could sit here all day and say, I have, I'm a psychologist and I have a this certificate and this and what, and in the end, I would say I've learned the most in motherhood. I really feel like I've had to dig the deepest. I've had to, push myself out of my comfort zone, sometimes willingly, sometimes unwillingly, because it's just life keeps going and they're teaching you things daily that, can bring up a lot of emotions that you have to go through too. And I myself experienced this really powerful surge after I had my second child, and right now they're both teenagers, but right after she was born, there was just this spark of, I want to do something else. I just felt this power, and maybe people here also can resonate with this, but it was a very powerful thing that I just couldn't ignore. I needed to do something of service. I needed to create a business. I needed to use my creativity. And I don't know, but after I started speaking with other moms, so many other moms had said, "Oh yeah, I had that too. Like I felt that, or I felt that and I didn't know what to do with it, but it was strong and it was a force and I couldn't ignore it." And so, it was something that I thought, wow, this is a space that I feel like is so needed, just to feel seen, to feel heard, to realize that yes, being a mother is such an honor and such a privilege. But there are thoughts and emotions and things that people feel of, is there more? How can I contribute in other ways? I feel content and satisfied, but I do also feel this feeling outside of me that wants me to do something else. And so I think it can fall differently for individuals. And that was kind of what I found myself helping a lot of moms with, was not only just sort of figuring out next steps, but also about um, kind of taking some time to tune in to themselves, become aware of, so much of my time is what what do other people need, and we kind of lose that connection with ourselves to say, but actually, what might I need in this time or in this space? So just helping, allowing them to sort of go inward and say, what is that inner voice sort of telling you right now? And is there anything, even a small thing, that you could do to help yourself connect back to that again?
Yeah, and to relate to that, I know you recently had a workshop. We've talked about your one-on-one coaching, but you also do workshops and trainings. And one of them was about intention setting, which kind of relates back to this about kind of helping people reach their potential. So what exactly is that and how does that help?
Absolutely. So I typically end up just naturally doing these sort of in December and January, because it just seems like a time where there's a lot of enthusiasm for, either setting a resolution or a goal or doing something. And I really resonated with a tool that's called intention setting. And really, it's just an alternative thing that people could explore if they wanted to, because really what it does is it helps you discover based on how you want to feel. So it's a whole time where we sort of tap back into our feelings and our emotions about, how do I want to feel each day? How do I want to show up in my life? What is a feeling that I hope to feel? So the feeling becomes sort of the driver. And then we go through some steps and activities to help you discover what are some daily actions that you could take that sort of can connect back to feeling that way. So it's not just sort of limited to, I need to do this by January 31st, or this year I have to do this. It allows for you to see such a wide variety of actions and steps that you could take to feel a certain way. So, for instance, if you set an intention to feel healthy, it kind of expands your view of saying, well, that might not just be related to what I think it means, just diet and exercise or to feel healthy, but my sleep, my screen time usage, connection with friends and neighbors and loved ones. That helps me feel healthy. That helps me feel the best. And so it allows for people to sort of expand a bit and be able to sort of see how they can weave things into their daily life that go in a cohesive way to setting an intention. And really, the way that this sort of kind of plays into looking into the future, because coaching is really meeting people where they're at and moving forward from that point. It really sort of helps you to think, if everything in our life is important, then nothing is important. So it really helps you to prioritize, to be intentional about choosing one or two things, so that naturally you're funneling your efforts, your time, and your energy towards an intention. And so just setting a daily intention can be so helpful and powerful with our brain, because it sort of rewires our brain into thinking, is the action that I'm taking going closer to that intention, or is it taking me further away? So it has this powerful, beautiful thing about combining sort of a reflective practice while also moving
Well,
forward.
that's so interesting. I mean, one, I didn't really know what the difference is between like an intention and say like a resolution or a goal, but it's so interesting that it's connected to emotions, which seems like that would help you kind of line up more with like your intuition and like how does this feel? Is this really, like you said, that constant practice of reflection to say, okay, I thought it was about exercise, but maybe it's really more about connecting with family, or what feels right, which goes back to the holistic, and also ties right into your journal. If you want to talk about that, like I know you have a journal that's out, and I'm sure that was really useful in this process. Do you have any tips for people who haven't really done any journaling before about how they can kind of make use of that?
Absolutely. Journaling is a tool that I share a lot, and just it's a research and evidence way that sort of helps us process a lot of things. It can help you with processing emotions. It can help you to sort of tease out thoughts, get things out. It can help kind of take some tension and stress out of you to sort of bring it out and see it on paper. Sometimes when the thoughts and everything are in our mind, it's really hard to make sense of them. It can give us feelings of feeling stuck because it's just kind of like going around and around. But then that allows for you to release it. It's just one way, though, that it can happen. So after I realized I was talking so much about journals, I've always wanted to, and I buy them all the time because I love it, but that I wanted to offer that. And so I recently published a journal called Little by Little, Day by Day. It's actually from the Baha'i writings, and it inspires a lot of the work that I do, but also just a great mantra that kind of settled really nicely, where you don't have to make a massive radical change to feel differently in your life. It can be little steps, and it really is less overwhelming, and a way to sort of say, each day I'm going to try to do something a little bit different from yesterday, or maybe I'm right where I need to be. And so this journal is actually sort of a very simple, I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard to stay consistent with anything, but it's meant to help you on the road of consistency. That's why they're short prompts on each page to set a daily intention, write down how you want to feel, what you intend to do. It has space for gratitude, because gratitude is very much connected with being able to not only discover what is important in our life and prioritize that, but also who is supporting us each day. And then it has a space for you to reflect. So just do a very simple reflection from the day before, and then set an action step for that day. So, it's meant to be a very simple approach so that it can feel easier to create daily habits.
I love that. What a great tool. And anybody who wants to find it, I know if you just go to her Instagram page, you can find the link in the bio. And also when we publish this on YouTube, we'll include the direct link to the journal if you'd like to find that. And that also goes to that idea. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. I know I told you 20 or 25 minutes,
That's
so I'll
okay.
keep that.
This is so fun.
But also I wanted to talk about the fact, because this is like a really practical step, is journaling and reflecting, the way you have it laid out. And that was one thing that struck me when I was looking at your website and reading the testimonials. Something that people kept saying again and again is talking about action. That it wasn't just about setting the intentions, but it was putting it into practice. And like you said, taking these little steps every day. Because I feel like a lot of times people get stuck in this stage where maybe they have a dream, they have something that they really want to do, but they're not sure how to take the next step, or they don't have the support for it, or that they tend to kind of get stuck not knowing just how to get started. So what would you say to somebody who's at that stage where they know what they want to do, but they just having trouble getting started?
Really great question. And yes, I think, first of all, I just want to honor that space because just knowing that you're not alone in that is really helpful. We all want to feel a sense of belonging and connection to people. And so just knowing that if you are struggling with that, it's natural. It's natural to feel stuck because it's something new. It's something you are embarking on for the first time. So I always, like to think about imagining the first time you started anything in your life. There's uncertainty, there's, nervousness, there's, I don't know how to do this, there's limiting beliefs that arise, there's all sorts of new emotions and things that we feel. And so sometimes we shy away from those uncomfortable feelings because they don't really feel good.
Okay.
And so taking one step, just one small step, is something that can help you feel like, okay, I did this one thing, so then maybe I can do one other step. Because a lot of times we think, I'll do that when I feel motivated to do it. I'll do that when my life seems a little bit calmer. I'll do that when I feel ready to do it. And actually, motivation doesn't come first. So we might find ourselves waiting quite a while for that motivation or that spark to come. It's actually the reverse. Once you take an action step towards something, you feel that sense of excitement after taking that step, and then motivation comes. So then you're able to keep continuing, but it really takes going to taking the action first and then sort of allowing yourself to feel motivated to continue. And maybe some of you have felt this when you've started a new project or you're doing something, or you've procrastinated to start something and then you start it and you're like, oh, I wish I had more time because now I feel so motivated. So that release of motivation, it really sparks after an action step is taken. So I always encourage to think about what is one step that you could take towards this, one small step. Try that first and then see where that takes you. But that choice and that step is really up to you to discover what that would be and what you feel ready for.
I love that perspective. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. I encourage everybody, go check out our Instagram, and from there you can find her website and all of the tools that we've mentioned, the journal, the coaching, the workshops. Especially if you're here local in Sacramento, you can maybe go to something in person. But thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. This is really wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Liana. I always enjoy our time together in person and now also virtually. So thanks so much for
And
having me.
thanks to everybody watching. If you joined us late, this will be up in just a few minutes on Instagram and later on our YouTube channel. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.